Kubernetes and GKE Part 46. This episode has 3 questions. For each question, take a moment to think through your own answer before I share a strong approach. Question 1. What should be included in a Kubernetes disaster recovery runbook for GKE? Here's a strong way to approach it. Include RTO or RPO targets, owners, escalation, backup locations, restore commands or console steps, GitOps or Terraform recovery order, secret recovery, persistent volume restore, database restore, DNS or load balancer cutover, validation checks, rollback criteria, and communication templates. The runbook should specify what is managed by Google, what is rebuilt from IAC, what is restored from backup, and how to prove the application is healthy after recovery. Nice. Let's continue. Question 2. How would you protect Kubernetes backups from ransomware, accidental deletion, or operator error? Here's a strong way to approach it. Use least privilege access, separate backup admin roles from cluster admins where possible, store backups in a separate project or protected bucket, enable encryption, retention locks or object versioning where suitable, audit access, and alert on backup deletion or policy changes. Test restore with limited credentials and keep backup metadata outside the failure domain of the primary cluster. Great. Moving on. Question 3. What is the difference between backing up Kubernetes manifests, persistent volumes, and application databases? Here's a strong way to approach it. Manifests capture desired Kubernetes objects such as deployments, services, config maps, RBAC, and policies. Persistent volume backups capture disk data attached to pods. Application database backups capture transactionally consistent data from the database engine. A reliable restore often needs all 3, but databases usually require application-aware backups or native backup tools to avoid crash consistency problems. Alright, next question. That wraps up this episode. Nice work practicing, and see you in the next one.